Hey, it's Akurios once again, and I'm back at you with another video. This time still on our song High, and today I'm going to be doing just as promised, actually as promised. Be showing you some things that have to do with the mix of the song, just a few things, a few of the elements, how I approach the mixing on it, based on popular demand. Some of you have asked for a mix breakdown of some of the ideas that I shared in the recording video, and that's the purpose of this video. That's what I'm going to be doing in this video. So let's head into the video. And before we head in, just in case you haven't listened to the song yet, please go to my Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Follow the links to the video, to the lyric video, to the download links, to the streaming links. Just go there and listen and stream away. Learn the song, be blessed by the song. And if you have any questions, if you want to reach me for any reason whatsoever, go ahead and reach me. My contacts are in the description, or you can just comment on this video and I'll get back to you on that. All right, so let's see what's going on here. So let's begin with the background vocals. 16 of them. Now, first of all, what I did, or before I show you what I did, let's listen to the song. Maybe from this point is fine, from the verse, second verse. But I praise you, Lord, for coming here to set me free. I am grateful to you, for your love for me. Okay, all right. So basically you can hear that it's a very dense mix, generally speaking, and it's also a very dense background vocal mix also. Let's listen to the background vocals alone just for a bit, maybe just this section here. Praise you, Lord. And then we can also listen to this pre-chorus section. Okay, maybe you can hear the compression going on at that section. That's if you can hear the compression, but I'll break it down a bit for you to understand. All right, so what am I doing here? What I'm doing here, basically, I have 16 tracks of background vocals. So and when you're recording any kind of instrument or vocals, you're going to have a buildup of the entire frequency spectrum, from the lows to the very highs. And humans can hear between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. The females can hear around up to 22 kilohertz, and children can even hear a little bit higher than that. Okay, now that's the average human being anyway. Now, when you're recording, you record everything that particular instrument has to offer frequency-wise. And when you have everything coming in, there's some things that are not too pleasant. There's some things that are sound good and you'd want to keep them, but there's some certain frequency sections or segments that you would want to leave out because they're not working very well with the song. They're not working very well with the the picture you're trying to paint in your mind. Okay, so something like that happened in this case, because when I recorded the vocals, including the lead vocal, there's a build up in the lows from around 60 hertz to around 120 hertz or thereabout, and it was making the vocals together sound very boomy in that section, and I didn't want that. So the first thing I did was to slap on a high pass filter, just a simple high pass filter on every single background vocal channel. Now what am I doing here? I'm just taking out from around 100 hertz, just 105 right there, just a little over 100 hertz. Now, you don't want to take away too much, because when you take away too much, the vocal sounds thin and lifeless and flat, and there's no weight to it at all. So And this goes for both female and male background vocals or vocals generally. Now, you don't want to take away too much low end because some of the low end is good for the sound. So you just want to take away around, 100 or a little over, depending on what you're hearing and what you're trying to achieve. All right, so I took away around 100, 105 for every single background vocal, all 16 of them. Now, without this is how they would sound. Praise you, Lord. Okay, let's go ahead and just also disable all the plugins on the bus, on the background vocal bus, including the effects. Let's listen again. Praise you, Lord. Okay, let's go to a different section. Sounds good, but there's just that build up, slight, it comes and goes. It's not always there, it comes and goes, but it's very boomy. And I didn't want that, so I took it out. Okay, so let's slap on the EQs once again. Without. You can hear it, right? Just around that whoa. Okay, so let's bring in the bus processing one plugin at a time. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. So first of all, we have just a simple DSP EQ here, the filter bank E606. And the first thing I did here again was to take out around 100 hertz, the high pass filter around 100 hertz. Just took it out. It's not doing anything for me. If it's not doing anything, if I've already taken it out in the previous stage, it's not doing anything for me. So I might as well just take it back out, or still take it out in this stage of the EQ. All right, so I took out 100 hertz and below high pass filter. That's the first move I made, and the second move I made was nothing actually. There was a boost there before, but I decided to leave it out. But here, there's a small boost, a very tiny boost, small boost around 180 hertz, around 180, 190 hertz. And it's just reintroducing a little bit of oomph and weight to the vocals, generally processing all of them. Now this is a holistic approach. This is not boosting 180 or 190 or 200 individually on all 16 of them. No, this is touching it and treating them as a group now. Now there's a difference, and you can even experiment this to find it out for yourself and hear it for yourself, that if you're treating 16 tracks and boosting 180 hertz on each track, it will give you a different sound from when you decide to boost 180 or 190 and treat 16 tracks together, generally from a bus. It's a whole different ball game. All right, so that's the second move I made. And the third move I made here is this cut going on here. Now this is around 2 kilohertz. Sorry, that's 3 kilohertz actually. And I'm taking out the frequency that I did not really like. And then there's a nice boost here. Very sweet boost. I like boosting background vocals around 7, 8, 9 kilohertz to give me that air. Now, it's not something you can really lay your hand on, but you just add some breeze, some freedom, if you like, in the high end. And we're going to listen to what it does. And as I introduced that air, or that 7.8 kilohertz, that's about 7.8 kilohertz, I also saw that there was a need for me to cut out some of the high highs, some of the very high frequencies, so that I don't reintroduce S's and heavy breaths. Okay, so I use the low pass filter at that point, and that's running down all the way to around 9 or 10 kilohertz. Okay, so now let's listen to what I've just showed you. Bypass. Back again. Don't you love that sound? Let me give you a tip here. Now, you see this plugin, the Mac DSP Filterbank E606. I love Mac DSP plugins. I love Waves plugins, especially the Renaissance bundle. Superb. The sound that these plugins have is very sweet. Now, when you boost the highs on the filter bank, the Mac DSP filter bank, or the Renaissance EQ, you get a very beautiful high end. It's not all sibilance and introducing all kinds of nasty high frequencies. No, it's introducing a very nice analog sounding air that you just love. So let's listen again. Out. Boring. In again. Okay, so next is the compressor. Now I like using the 1176 CLA Wave CLA 1176 Blue Stripe. Let's see how much compression I'm doing here. Now I like to compress background vocals together as a group. I'm not really a big fan of compressing individually, especially when I compressed on the way in. I use the compressor on my desk, just a basic parametric EQ, high pass filter, little high pass filter here and there, and then a little boost in the mids, just to record what I want. And then I use the compressor also to tame super strong and heavy transients so that I'm not clipping when I don't want to clip. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Okay, bypass. Okay, now you can hear that the volume has gone up. There's a boost in the volume, but at the same time, there's more compression. There's more taming. The latter part of that phrase is not is not is not too aggressive. As opposed to and I love the sound of the 1176. I love the sound it introduces to anything I apply it on, especially the blue stripes with vocals, the black stripe, the black face with drums, and some female vocals also. All right, so let's see what's happening here. Another EQ. Now this is the famous Renaissance EQ, Waves Renaissance EQ that I mentioned earlier. Now what I'm doing here is very interesting because it's almost the same, because you can see that the EQ curves look almost the same. Now let's bring up the previous one, you can see there's a high boost, there's a low boost around 100, but the frequency changes here. All right, now let's see what this is doing, or let's hear what this is doing. Out. Wow. Now, do you hear the high frequencies coming out, poking out through the mix? And that's the essence of this. Now, let's listen to all this in context so that we see what it's actually doing for us in the mix. Okay? Let's get out of solo and listen. So let's take it out now. So I'll just bring it in and take it out as it plays. Just watch me. Sweet. Okay, so next is De-essing. All right, so now I also like to de-ess my background vocals as a group, not individually, because there's no need for me to do that. And from experience, from my little experience, I have observed that it's better for me when I de-ess as a group, and it's more natural. It's not there's no opportunity for over de-essing and over processing. So I can just treat all the background vocals as a group, as one unit, and then I have better results that way. All right, so let's listen to a very heavily est section. Okay, let's listen to the chorus.
I lift you high, high, high. It's sink and do more. Onye nenike, I bless your name.
Let's take it from this point.
High, high. It's sink and do more. High, high. It's sink and do more. High, high. It's sink and do more. Onye nenike, I bless your.
Let's listen to the bless.
I bless your. I bless your.
Simple. So it doesn't have to be too much. You don't have to introduce a lisp to the background vocalists. Just make it natural. It doesn't have to be too much. Just natural. Okay. So next is, of course, another compressor. Let's see what it's doing. just a little compression. It's maxing at about 6 dBs of compression, not too much, just all right. And as long as it's not sounding squashed and lifeless, we're fine. Okay, so let's bring in the effects. Delay. I like the super tap delay, the wave super tap delay. It does it for me. I like what it does to background vocals, especially because it introduces some excitement, some energy on both the left and the right side of the stereo spectrum. So let's take a look at what is going on here. So what I have here is just the left side is ahead by just a tiny little bit, and then both sides, of course, including the center, are on. But I have a 500 hertz roll off on both the left and the right side because I don't want to introduce the lows to the delays, and I don't think you should either, because there's no need to reintroduce low frequencies to delays or to delayed sounds in your mix. Whatever you're recording, could be vocals, maybe you could get away with it with guitars and stuff like that, but with vocals I really don't like introducing low frequencies. All right, so 500 hertz roll off on both the left and the right side, and this is what we have. So let's go to the mix now. Now, let's see how much of the effect I'm introducing to the vocals. Now, it's just about minus 24 on the fader here. Just about minus 24. Maybe I can push it up a bit. That's minus 26. Okay, so that's how much of the effect I want introduced into the background vocal sound or mix. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. Now, what do we have here? The reverb. And that's the same thing again, just about 24, 25, thereabout. And the reverb I'm using here is the new lustrous plates from Slate Digital. And I'm using the chrome plates. And you can see I have the width at around 7.5. Pre-delay, I don't really use pre-delay for vocals, not too much, so it's just that 0.3 milliseconds. No lows, again, no lows. We don't want lows in our reverbs. We don't want boominess being reverberated all over the place. We don't want that. We just want a clean sounding delay or a clean sounding reverb. All right, and then it's 100% wet because I'm using it as a send, because I'm sending it to the background vocal. So you want the plugin to say 100% wet, but you want to introduce as much as you need on the actual elements that you're trying to reverb up. Okay, now that's around 24. So let's see and hear what's going on.
I lift too high, high, high. I gotta worry more as an member. I lift too high, high, high. It's sink and do more. Onye the nike, I bless your.
Let's go to the mix.
Remember, I lift you high, high, high. It's sinking to more, only the nike. I bless your name.
just a touch, just a tad. We don't need too much. We don't need too much because the nature of the song does not require too much reverb. We don't want the vocals to be swimming in an ocean of space. No, that's not what we want for this type of song. This type of song only requires a tiny little bit of delay and reverb. All right. Not much in the effects region. All right. Now for this video, I'm just going to touch on the background vocals, and in a subsequent video, I'll touch on the electric guitars and the drums and the percussions and the keys and so on and so forth. But for now, let's just understand what's going on in the background vocals, and then we can take it from there. So if you have any questions, or if there's anything you want to be clarified on, if you want to know how the plugins work, or you want to know more about my approach in mixing the background vocals, or my approach to mixing the background vocals, please go ahead and reach out to me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, or just type your question in the comment section and I'll be glad to get back to you and answer your questions. All right? So let's listen to what we have so far before we go.
Chukwe bulembiri webo cheya Ekwensu wetongu mwankesirike Chukwe mehuzo kaisa la fereya Konyenso no locheze ya eligwe Ogodo ya tukutani meluso Konyenso patani mono dukita Iyalila mangwe sitenike ya.
Alright, so that's it from me, and I'll be back at you when next you see me. So from here, I'm Akurios, and I'm out.
Chukwe me huzo kaisa la fereya